First we have shrimp squats. So Jack's looking at standing in front of his target. Jack's got ab mats on the floor there. If you need to reduce that range of motion, you could use books, cushions, anything you want, just so you're not going down quite as far if you struggle to get all the way to the floor. We're not holding your back foot this time. We want Jack's knee to come back, lightly touch his target, or all the way down to the floor if you can. Jack's going for 10 reps on one leg. He then rests 30 seconds, swap over and do 10 on the other leg, and you're going to keep going, alternating back and forth between each leg until you've done 4 sets on either side, which will obviously be 8 total sets altogether. Next we have a little test for you. 100 step back goblet lunges, nice and controlled alternating legs. Little challenge here to see if anyone can do it unbroken. So if anyone can do all 100 without having to rest. If you are going for that, really important, make sure you are upright. Make sure your core's tight and you're keeping that dumbbell close to you. What we don't want is you caving forward too much and getting pulled forward. And we don't really want you slamming that back knee off the floor either. So making sure it's nice and controlled, dumbbells into you, set yourself a little bit of a tempo with this. And even if you don't get all the way to 100, I would really try and max out on that first set. So maybe counting the nice tempo, almost like a metronome in your head as you're stepping back, stepping up. See how long you can keep that pace, that tempo up for. Even if it's 60, 70 reps and you have to have a little bit of a rest, let's see if you can keep going and really get that pump in the legs. Next we have 3 sets, a little bit of posterior work. We are going for 20 weighted glute bridges. So Jack has dumbbell on his hips, he's driving through a flat foot, or you can always pull your toes up slightly. I quite like to drive through my heels on this. You should be squeezing your bum, squeezing your glutes, all the way up to the top, nice and controlled, lowering back down to the floor, and then at the bottom you want to lightly touch your bum to the floor before you come back up. What you don't want is a big rest at the bottom and then a heave on the way up. Once you've done 20 of those, immediately dumbbell comes off, you go into 5 hamstring walkouts. So he starts in that glute bridge position, he walks his heels out until his legs are almost locked out but not quite, and then he slowly walks his heels back in. What you really need to concentrate on this movement is making sure you're maximally squeezing your glutes, your hips are tucked under you. What you're not doing is just arching your back and leaning and hyperextending here. So make sure you feel the weight in glutes and hamstrings. You're not arching your back and just tensing that to compensate. So your next piece, your little posterior and core piece, is going to start with back extensions. You might not have done these before, so key little coaching tips you want to focus on. I like to keep my toes on the floor for this. I'm obviously face down. Jack wants to put his hands lightly behind his head, but you don't want to be pulling down on your head and your neck. So all that's going to do is open up your thoracic, make sure you're in a good position with your chest. So from here, Jack's squeezing his bum and his lower back, and he's driving his hips into the floor. So you want to really feel like you're pushing your hips into the floor as his chest, his head, his elbows come up. Really nice and controlled, slowly down and up. You're doing 10 to 20 reps, a little bit of a rep range because some of you might find these easy, some of you might find these really challenging. Next movement we're going to do is a hollow hold. You're going 20 to 40 seconds, bit of a rep range again depending on your comfortability with these. Comfortability with these, is that a word? Is comfortability a word?
Get on with it.
So 20 to 40 seconds, scale them as you need to. Jack's driven his knees into his chest here, which makes it slightly easier. The further your legs go out and the further your hands go out will make them more difficult. Same again, make sure you're crunching down, stick your lower back into the floor, 20 to 40 seconds. You're then going to rest 1 minute, and your next little piece will be 20 to 30 Russian twists. Not dead stop, so making sure you're moving back and forward continuously, lightly touching on either side, and again, you're controlling that with your core, you're not swinging your arms side to side.
Rest another minute, 3 sets.
Rest another minute, 3 sets.